what a keynote. Next up, I've got a very special guest because John Lewis Partnership is the UK's largest employee-owned business and the parent company of two cherished retail brands, John Lewis and Waitrose. They use Agentforce and the Salesforce platform to work to better serve their customers. And to learn more, I'm joined by Michael Cato, who's Product Manager, MarTech at John Lewis Partnership. Welcome, Michael. How are you today?
Thank you for having me. It's exciting to be here.
Well, what can I say? John Lewis Partnership is such a heritage brand with a tremendous reputation in the UK. Tell me about the biggest challenge you were looking to solve with Agentforce.
So I think if we look back at what the last 2 or 3 years have been about, it's about how do we better serve our customers, but on a very vertical level. And so it's tackling those channels individually and also trying to work out how do we make sure we're putting data in the hands of our partners, which is all amazing stuff in what we're doing. But actually we need to start to flip that pretty dynamically and dramatically in how we're actually doing this is by putting data in the hands of customers. And so we can actually ensure that customers can have a better relationship with us as a brand because they might just want a very quick and simple answer to a question, whether that's a customer service question or actually a question about a product on our website. But also we need to start to look at how those customers are engaging with us as brands in terms of what is it they're actually looking to do, what is it that we can get the most out of our brands for our customers, and actually being sure that we're there 24/7 for our customers, whereas actual fact that humans, we can't be, obviously.
I love
So that's what we need to look at doing.
So you can let your staff go to sleep at night and still give that amazing service that you're known for. And you mentioned data a few times there, and I just want to dig in, Michael, because you're using Data Cloud to activate audiences, so that's across your channels, and you're looking to include agents soon. Why is that so important, and what's next there?
Because I guess what we need to think about is if we change the terminology from having better communication with our customers to having better conversations, you then start to really play into the world of where can this play. So yes, Data Cloud was pivotal and is pivotal in terms of us being able to build out our audiences. How should we activate them? Which channel should we activate them in? But actually where Agentforce plays a different role is what are those other digital touch points or just general touch points a customer interacts with, which is another way to build out an audience or a segment. But also more critically is how can we ensure that we're putting more data in the hands of our different touch points so they again can make decisions on their own part in their vertical channels as well. So Agentforce for us was another way in which we can start to stitch that journey together and have synergy all the way through it.
I love that, and I love what you said about it's conversational now. You're not just talking at them, they can feed back and you can listen to them too. Talking about customers and customer journeys, I know you're using Marketing Cloud and the Salesforce platform, and it's integral to your business, but how do you use both to develop these thoughtful customer journeys?
So the way I've always tried to picture this is by thinking about this in terms of layers. And so if I kind of talk about those layers first, one is you've got to start with your data and how your data is sitting together. You've also got to have some element of intelligence that's sitting over the top of it, and then you also then need to power it by activating said intelligence and data, and then how do you then execute upon that? And so what we started to look at is Marketing Cloud is our execution channel for all of our CRM and marketing conversations. So across all of our email, push, SMS, or traditional channels, that's where Marketing Cloud plays a role, but also it's used by our end users of our CRM analysts. It's no longer a tool that's there to be used by a data analyst, or it's not there to be used by a techie. Likewise, Data Cloud for us, that played a role because then we can go bigger. We can scale out these audiences. We can use bigger data sets, deeper data sets in what we're trying to articulate to our customers. So for us, the power of two and also the power of all four of those layers then starts to create what we call our partnership rainbow, and that's where we're starting to go. And Agentforce will then be part of that as well and be another layer and part of that rainbow in itself.
So big plans, and you're really putting the data and insights into the hand of everyone at the business, it sounds like, to make better decisions everywhere.
Exactly, because it's not just about an exec team who makes the decision. It's not just about whether how's a marketing campaign performed across email. It's about what has that customer done with us as a brand, and also those channels might not be the best place to serve that conversation with the customer. It might be within a TikTok reel. It might actually just be with them interacting with a bot on our website because they just want to know what to cook that evening with their dinner, what they've just got from Waitrose. So for us, it's about how we create that conversation, and those two platforms join that together to enable people across marketing, data, products, and also our exec team to make some really, really interesting and cool decisions.
Amazing. And I was going to to ask you what makes measurement and dashboards so important to your work, but is there anything you want to add there?
Well, I guess it's interesting, right? Because I think we all talk, and even today, right, we're going to talk about some sexy features. We're going to talk about how can we create a better conversation with our customer, but how do we know any of this really works? And how do we know that any of this is really benefiting the customer? And yes, you can look at your bottom line revenue and your profit figures, which is probably some way of going about it. But actually for us, be able to use Tableau to start to have a look at, okay, how our customers interact with our email channel. Can we see that our engagement rates are going up or going down? Actually, can we see that there's particular elements within the email itself that's actually drawing more of a reaction from a customer? Is it a content? Equally, if I start to think about how do we then start to look at the future? So me in my role, I've got to start to look at where are we going in the next 2 to 3 years. Well, measurement starts to drive. Well, if I can see traditional channels are starting to depreciate, and actually we need to start to think about how the new generation of customers interacting, then I've also then got to look at measurement and how that's working, and that drives a lot of our decisions in what we do as well. So measurement's critical across everything.
I think a lot of our retail customers at home are going to be really looking to you as their kind of gold standard of what's possible. It's really, really great to see the innovation. I'd love to know, what results have you seen so far since you've been on this journey of AI and digital transformation?
So we started this journey mainly from an internal point of view of saying, we need to be more efficient as a business because we know that we had some additional areas where we just could remove some fat from. And so for us, we needed to remove efficiency, number one. And by that, we increased our efficiency by over 70%. That means we've automated, we've sped up an awful lot of our processes, we've removed some processes from that as well. So efficiency was up 70%, and our profitability of our campaigns we also saw went through the roof at over 20% as well. And that's just us getting going within the first 6 to 12 months of going live. And I'm so excited about where we can go next, because if that's just the start, then it's going to be amazing to see what we do next.
And actually, that's a lovely segue to my next question. In just a few words, what would you say is next for John Lewis Partnership and Salesforce, us together?
Yeah, I guess for us, it's how do we improve and better that conversation with the customer. We know that, just us talking to them through these traditional channels is not the start. How are customers interacting with us, and how can we improve that 24/7 bi-directional conversation with the customer to deliver ease of service to them?
Perfect. Thank you so much for joining me today. I look forward to seeing what comes next. And I think that's it for now. But if you'd like to learn more about John Lewis Partnership, you can scan the code on the screen now or head to the link johnlewispartnership.co.uk. Next up, there's more World Tour London coming up right here on Salesforce Plus.